Hi, I wanted to continue with the summary of Buddhism. This is the conclusion. So, Nichiren Daishonin writes in the Teaching Capacity, Time and Country in February 1262, anyone who hopes to spread the Buddhist teachings must make certain to understand the time. We need to unite in that cause in order to dispel the sense of stagnation that pervades society. Believing in each other's possibilities and working together to bring forth these capabilities in on establishing the correct teaching for the peace of the land is the name. In continuation, the great teacher Miao Lo, spelled Miao Lo, born 711 year of China, summarizes a verse section of the 13th chapter of the Lotus Sutra called Encouraging Devotion, saying, uh, three powerful enemies are three types of arrogant people who persecute those who propagate the Lotus Sutra in the evil age after Shakyamuni Buddha. Those are arrogant lay people, arrogant priests, and arrogant false sages. Mialo also states, whether one accepts or rejects the teaching, it enters one's ears and thus one establishes a bond with it. And then, though one may comply with or go against it, in the end one will be able to achieve liberation because of this bond. Sowing the seeds by letting one hear the teaching. Thus summed up by Ikeda, simply by hearing the law one forms the cause or seed for attaining Buddhahood eventually, even if one should reject it initially. Jose Toda said, no one in the suffering-filled world is free of problems or worries. This is why the Buddha is compelled to encourage others and lead them to enlightenment. This is the spirit of the propagation of the Lotus Sutra. In February 1952, SGI President Ikeda, then an advisor to Tokyo's Kamata chapter, initiated a dynamic propagation campaign. He broke through the previous monthly record by introducing the Daishonin's Buddhism to 201 new member households. The following are Ikeda's writings. Continuation. Practitioners of the mystic law, may you grow as strong as mighty trees, undefeated by the bitter cold. A whirlwind of joy swept through, sowing the seeds of Buddhahood by letting people hear the teaching, bringing forth fresh energy and their fresh unity, powering a new wave of development. Spirit learned chanting and fighting with a determination to succeed without fail rather than giving up before even starting. With strong conviction and a desire for peace, members' words of conviction, their warm words of encouragement that are like a spring breeze, resonate deeply in people's hearts. The SGI are encouraging in lively dialogues for the happiness and victory of all, and expanding their network of friendship and peace. My wife and I pray every day that members will strive together in good health and high spirits, even more harmoniously united, and realize wonderful, victorious lives. When the world faces many difficult problems and challenges, that makes it all the more imperative for us to engage in dialogue for the sake of lasting peace, trusting in the limitless potential of all human beings. May the sun always shine on the heroic bodhisattvas of the earth in their endeavors. The land of the moon is another name for India, the place where the Buddha made his appearance in the world. The land of the sun is another name for Japan. Is there any reason why a sage should not appear here? The moon moves from the west eastward, a sign of how the Buddhism of India spread in an easterly direction. Let us send the great light of the wisdom and compassion of the Lotus Sutra to people around the world. Let us impart the light of Buddhist humanism to our planet, which is deeply shrouded in the darkness of suffering and misery, and joyfully increase the circle of human flowers who exemplify the victory of the people. In May 3, 1951, Jose Toda was inaugurated as second president of Soka Gakkai. Then in 1960, Ikeda, his disciple, united with him in spirit and purpose. Mr. Toda gave me a lecture, says Ikeda, on Nichiren Daishonin's writings on reprimanding Hachiman with great seriousness. At that time, a war was dividing the Korean peninsula. The people of Asia, having already endured terrible agonies in World War II, were once more undergoing the torments of war. My men are empathizing with their suffering, boldly declared that the time for Kosen Rufu had come, and decisively rose to action. This was reflected in Toda's essay, titled Kosen Rufu and the Korean War, published in Daibyakurenge, the Soka Gakkai's study journal, in May 1951. Nichiren Daishonin composed on reprimanding Hachiman in December 1280 while residing at Minobu. It is a deeply significant writing that he addresses to all his followers. It was a turbulent moment in Japan's history. The country was facing the threat of a second invasion by the Mongol forces, and the shrine to great Bodhisattva Hachiman, who was regarded as the protector deity of the Kamakura military government, had burned down. Nichiren continued to dauntlessly lead the great struggle for Kosen Rufu. The Buddhism of Shakyamuni, which appeared in the distant western land of India, also known as the Land of the Moon, passed through Central Asia, China, and Korean Peninsula before finally reaching Japan in a great tide of cultural exchange that moved from west to east across Eurasia. The direction matches that of the moon's apparent motion. Because of the direction of its orbit around the Earth, each night it appears a little further to the east of its position in the sky the previous night. Another name for the Buddha is one who can endure, because he is a person of courage, who is able to forge ahead steadily with great endurance to help the people of the suffering-filled world attain enlightenment. Tsune Saburo Makiguchi is the founder, first president of the Soka movement. Nichiren called on his disciples to benefit the world in the same manner as Bodhisattva, never disparaging, who is the embodiment of the selfless commitment to sharing the heart of the Lotus Sutra with others. He is able to lead all of them to enlightenment in the end. Bodhisattva recognized and bowed in reverence to the supremely noble Buddha nature in every person he encountered. His practice thus entailed showing the highest respect for all human beings based on a profound belief in the dignity of his own life and of the lives of others. His practice was absolutely nonviolent and thoroughly committed to pursuing dialogue. Wisely avoiding violence, Bodhisattva continued to persevere in his efforts to awaken people. In November 2014, Ikeda described that he met with a group of these bodhisattvas of the earth, SGI leaders from around the world, at the Hall of the Great Vow for Kosen Rufu in the Soka Gakkai headquarters complex in Shinanomachi, Tokyo. We're going to continue on the next part. Thank you, facebook.com, Bye.